This presentation will go over Chapter 13, Principle number 10, Yielding Products, which include goal-driven, purposeful vision, and ownership. These activities we will be discussing are not easy, and they take much planning, deliberation, and persistence. But when they are finished, students will have the tools to be successful in this product-intensive world. In the next portion, I will go over each activity and the essential information you should know of how to successfully implement these tools. With that being said, let's get started. The first tool we will be talking about are cartoons and animated movie productions. It is essential to gather samples, be specific on your grading procedures, have students prepare a draft, and then post your criteria and requirements. The second tool we will be looking at is student documentaries. It is vital to provide clear guidelines about length, purpose, audience, grading, and other expectations. Planning and storyboarding the documentaries, and recording, editing, and distributing the video. The third tool we will be looking at is course video summaries and movie festivals. It is vital to provide clear expectations in terms of content coverage and topics addressed, media incorporated, video length, technology, and genres, and there should be sample videos from previous semesters. The fourth tool we will be looking at is book trailers. To start this, you should show example book trailers from websites, provide learners with the precise task requirements in terms of length, format, and due dates. It's also helpful to create a list of video editing resources and freely available media. The fifth tool is online book reviews. Ask the students to write about the critical book themes, purpose, or impetus for the book and the intended audience, key points or contributions, implications, conclusions, and sources used. They should also include the publisher, publication date, and the title of the book. The sixth tool is content databases and learning portals. You should break it into stages of completion. Where each step is completed, you should approve it before extensive labor is committed and provide exemplars and websites for the students to follow. The seventh tool is to have oral history interviews. The instructor will lay out the assessment and evaluation, solicit student suggestions, and inform students how many media elements that they are expected to include, the expected length of the interview, the type of questions that might be asked, the ways of conducting the interview, and the minimum number of references or citations for their work. The eighth tool is the grammar check and peer check. Instructors should show examples of different versions of text that detail changes in writing development, style, and organization, and include a series of guide sheets and writing templates on the various types of changes expected. The ninth tool is to have recording accomplishments. There should be a course accomplishment thread in a discussion forum for learners to list what they have done to date, and these could range from short-term goals related to the course or to more impactful ones that cut across one's different learning experiences. The 10th and final tool are poster sessions and gallery tours. Solicit feedback from a few students on the initial design. It is important not to embarrass anyone publicly, and be sure to ask for their permission before posting and then ask them how it looks when it's done. In conclusion, you should take one or more of the 10 activities outlined here and build upon them. Share them with others and talk to your students about how goal setting in a fully online or blended course can lead to long-term success. Such course products often yield benefits, and each offers learners a goal or milestone, and it offers students a time to find their pride and identity. Next, BRENDA-JEAN will go over 2 of these tools. Stick around to hear what those are.
Thank you, Jarrett. So if you've been following the acronym TEC VARIETY, this is the Y, which stands for yielding products. These products, or projects, or presentations give your course a goal. Creating an original work motivates students to apply their skills and talents. Knowing that their work will be presented to others gives an extra incentive to do their best. The courses we've been taking in the Educational Technology and Media Leadership program have featured many of the 10 project suggestions Jared has just described, So it's very easy to come up with specific examples of how a teacher could apply them in an online classroom setting. Here's an example of a project Dr. Bindon had us do in Reading for Leisure and Learning. We had to research the life story of a favorite author. In my case, I chose Owen Colfer, the author of the Artemis Fowl series. We used a program called Comic Life to design a graphic novel-style biography of our author. Well, I thought that was a great idea, so I adapted it for my students. They were asked to create a 2-page graphic novel of either their coronavirus story, to culminate journals they'd been keeping since the time schools closed back in March, or a college they were researching to consider applying to. Here are some examples of the work they came up with. So this gives you a specific idea of a culminating project. My students did this during the pandemic and submitted it by Schoology. We showcased them during Zoom class, which is something the authors of Tech Variety mention as being an important component of a project. When students know they're expected to present, they're motivated to apply their best efforts, and their classmates can also learn or get ideas from seeing each other's work. Here's another example of a digital project. This web quest was designed as an assignment for Dr. Cobb's class, and I totally used it with my students. They accessed the materials online using the school computers available in class, back when that was a thing, and they used digital collaboration tools to plan it. But they got to do their actual random acts of kindness in person, because it was before the pandemic. As you can see, it was a group project, and the steps started with us watching a TED Talk on the value of helping others. Then the students had to do their own research to get ideas and draw up a preliminary plan as a group. The project took 3 weeks from start to finish, and the steps were clearly laid out in the web quest. Planning worksheets were embedded into the site, and there were rubrics that further specified what I was looking for in terms of their project and presentation. Here's another example of their work. So these projects were presented in person. The students projected their slides in the classroom, and the group members each took turns sharing their part. But it could just as easily have been presented remotely because the project is digital. Now, one more thing the authors of Tech Variety mentioned is the idea of creating a gallery where students can view each other's work. One way to do this is by using a discussion board. Here's an example of a discussion I held with my students at the beginning of the semester. In this particular discussion, they're not posting actual projects, they're just practicing using the forum to post a response to a prompt and interact with each other by commenting on each other's posts. But in some of our online classes, as you know, the professors use the discussion forum for us to post our actual projects. That way, it's on a platform that the rest of the class can access. The reason for doing this is that we can learn from each other. Also, if you have students who are not really clear about what the project should look like, they can see examples of their classmates' work, which at least shows them how other students interpreted it. So, there you have it, some specific examples of how you can use products or projects in your classroom, whether it's in person or online. We hope it has made sense and been helpful.